Exodus chapter 16 verse 1 through 4. The whole Israelite community set out from Elim and came to the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they had come out of Egypt. In the desert, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted. But you have brought us out into this desert to starve this entire assembly to death." Then the Lord said to Moses, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way, I will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions." Do you guys remember what we shared last week? It was the story of Moses breaking the Red Sea and freeing the Israelites from Egypt. The Bible I read today was about 2 months and a half after these people left Egypt with Moses and Aaron and crossed the Red Sea into the wilderness. The Israelites who came out into the wilderness were gradually getting tired. They were thirsty and hungry. However, the Bible does not say that some Israelites complained, but rather that all Israelites started complaining to Moses and Aaron. They started complaining to Moses and Aaron, saying that it would have been better to live as a slave in Egypt and die there. When they lived in Egypt, they constantly complained that they could eat whatever they wanted. This meant that they completely forgot about the Egyptian life and mistaken it for being better in Egypt than in this wilderness. It may have been difficult for these people to be in the wilderness, but it must have been much less difficult than they did in Egypt. Not only did Israelites forget how they lived in Egypt before, but also they were complaining to Moses and Aaron, thinking that they had been eaten well and lived well in the past. Moses prayed to God, "God, what should I do? Even though these people have clearly seen God's miracle, they're complaining to me. This is not about complaining to me, but it's complaining to God. Please help me." God spoke to Moses. "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way, I will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions." It was evening that day. But when sky turns black, a huge number of birds came in. That was quails coming. It's not just that. The next morning, the snow-like white thing came down from the sky and piled up. And it was food called manna that tastes sweet like honey. Despite the evil complaints of Israelites to God, God gave them food to eat to their full stomach. All the Israelites caught quails, ate them up full, picked up manna, and ate enough without lacking. But what's even more surprising was that God didn't stop manna from heaven for just one day. For 40 years, God has given this to Israelites manna every day. What would we do if we are in God's position? In today's passage, God has listened to all the needs of people who complained and resent God for freeing them from slavery and all that they complained about. Why did God not just abandon these people and help them in spite of the complaints of the Israelites? There is only one reason. It was to let them know who God is. The reason people complain is that life in the wilderness is difficult, but they don't really know who actually God is. The Israelites complained because they did not know what God would do through them or where their purpose and will were. Nevertheless, the reason God kept waiting for them for 40 years was to make them realize how faithful and almighty God is. When we know right away who God is, we can move forward boldly without complaining and without fear, just like Moses did. God is the Almighty God who already knows all of our needs and supplies them in ways we cannot imagine. Just as God protected Israelites by feeding manna every day for 40 years, I hope you remember that He is the Almighty God who keeps and protects you who believes in Jesus Christ forever. 자, 5월 두 번째 주 액티비티를 꺼내주시기 바랍니다. 오늘은 만나를 만들어 보면서 만나와 매출하기 오늘 말씀을 묵상해보는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 자, 먼저 볼을 준비해 주시고 저희가 계량한 찹쌀가루와 설탕과 소금 그리고 고구마 전분을 준비해 주세요. 네, 그리고 비빌 수 있는 저런 스패츌라를 준비해 주시면 됩니다. 나중에 전분을 부을 트레이도 준비해 주세요. 자, 먼저 찹쌀가루 140g을 볼에 부어주세요. 설탕 50g을 넣어주세요.
네.
소금 한 꼬집을 넣어주세요. 우유 230g을 부어주세요. 자, 이제 랩으로 씌워서 전자레인지에 2분을 돌려주세요. 자, 밖에서 안쪽으로 다시 한번 섞어주세요. 저어주신 다음에 다시 2분을 더 전자레인지로 데워주세요. 자, 트레이에 전분 가루를 얇게 펴주세요. 자, 2분 더 데워온 저 반죽을 거의 다 익었기 때문에 윤기 나는 떡 모양이 될 때까지 1분 정도를 더 칠해 주시기를 바랍니다. 트레이로 옮겨주세요. 그리고 이 떡 위에도 전분을 살살 뿌려주세요. 자, 모두 수고하셨습니다.
하이파이브! 예! 아벨 이거 먹어봐봐.
아벨아, 오늘 불편했던 이스라엘 백성들에도 불구하고 하나님은 40년 동안이나 이 만나와 매출하기를 주셨죠? 아벨아? 그죠? 아벨이도 하나님께 불평하지 말고 하나님이 주시는 모든 것에 항상 감사하는 아벨이가 되기를 바래요. 아멘?
아멘.